Hey everyone, Black Belt MTG back here with another gameplay video for Domain Zoo. If you follow me on Twitter, then you already know that I did drop my complete sideboard guide for Zoo about a week or two ago. You can check out that link in the description if you're interested in that. It's totally free. And this is the list that I recommended, the 75 kind of going into the RCQ season. Now we're about a week or two into the new RCQ season, so we've already had some players get some good results with similar lists, when qualifying and everything with either this exact 75 or something very close to it, and using the things from my sideboard guide to help them out to make their own sideboard plans and things like that. So this is the 75 I'm going with right now. So I've got, if you've been following me, then I have enjoyed running Preordain. I like it as a 3 of because you don't really want to see it in multiples, and you don't really want to play it until turn 3 or later. But I do really like it to dig for more action, whatever you need it, to close out a game, whether that's another threat or burn spell, things like that. So I really like Preordain as a 3 of. And then the rest of the list is all 4 ofs. It's pretty stock. I do like Nishoba Brawler for a while. I was testing Goyf. Some people like Tarmogoyf. I've just never liked it that much. I liked the consistency of being able to have that Nishoba Brawler always be 4-3 on turn 2 and 5-3 on turn 3. I found that to be more valuable in a lot of matchups, whereas like Goyf can get very big in matchups that are filling their graveyard, but sometimes you play against other matchups like Tron or Hammer or things like that just don't have a lot of graveyard, aren't really filling their graveyard, and then your Goyf, I've had plenty of times had to play Goyf as like a 2-3 on turn 3 or something like that, and that's just not really where you want to be. So that's why I like Brawler. I find it a little more consistent to it turning on StubbyD. So that's where I'm at. I still think Goyf can be a good choice. I know some players really like that. Definitely Goyf would be better in certain matchups like Scam, I think, but other than that, I do like Brawler. And then moving over to the sideboard. My sideboard's been pretty much the same with a few tweaks. So I do like Chain to the Rocks. This is very good against Murktide, very good against Scam, very good as just kind of exile-based removal when you need it. I have my 2 of Flusterstorm. I like that a lot against mostly that's there for your Cascade decks, but also can hit some other combo decks that you might come across. 2 Natural State. This is what I find to be very important for Amulet Titan matchup. It's also good against Hammer Time, good against pretty much any artifact or enchantment stuff you want. But I found specifically for Amulet Titan, which I found to be very represented in paper metas, at least for like things like RCQs, my local meta, it's a lot there. So I really do like the 2 Natural States. I found that's kind of critical for that matchup. I'm playing a 1-1 split of Veil of Summer and Celestial Purge. So Veil of Summer is very good against any sort of black-based removal deck. Also good in kind of control matchups, but those are less common. Nowadays, it's more, play against Mono Black Coffers, play against Jund, play against Scam, kind of anything that's trying to use black or blue spells in that way. It's very useful to have Veil of Summer. And I like 1 of Celestial Purge. So this is the full art version, but it's an exile target black or red permanent. This is a very narrow card. However, it is also like the best card against Scam because for 2 mana, you can exile any other permanents. So it's very good for, if you need to deal with a Scammed Grief or Scammed Fury, if you need to deal with Blood Moon, if you need to deal with a Fable for some reason, Celestial Purge is great, but it's very narrow. So I don't bring it in a ton of matchups other than Scam. So Scam is so popular right now that I'm including it as a 1 of, but that's kind of why I have the split of 1 Veil, 1 Celestial Purge, because Veil is good against Scam, but also more versatile for other kind of matchups. So I didn't want to dedicate 2 slots to Celestial Purge, but you could do that if you were just certain you were going to play a ton of Scam, then that kind of 2 Chain of the Rocks, 2 Celestial Purge goes really far in that matchup. I've got 2 Rest in Peace. I've played around with other Graveyard Hate before. Especially with Goyf, you can play things like Tormod's Crypt, Unlicensed Hearse. Where Rest in Peace shines for me is primarily in the Murktide matchup. So Rest in Peace turns off their win con with Murktide, which is pretty strong. But also, more importantly for our deck, it turns off the Delirium, so it makes it very difficult for Murktide deck to deal with Kavu and Scion of Draco specifically. If you turn off Delirium, they basically don't have a way to kill them except for like Dress Down with Kavu or like Engineer Explosives for 2 drops, but other than that, they have a very hard time dealing with it. It'll set them back very far, even if it's, even if they play EE on 2, they have to spend 4 mana to do that. And deal with Rest in Peace, and it's exiling everything on ETB. So that's like a very big deal because it can set them back very far. But the big thing is it makes DRC much worse, makes the removal much worse, and turns off their win con. So I found it to be kind of great for that matchup. I would say if you're not expecting a lot of scam, you could get away with other things like Unlicensed Hearse, because those are actually better for other matchups. So I think like Rest in Peace, I don't like to bring in against Scam, but you could bring in Unlicensed Hearse against Jund. Or sorry, actually, I like Rest in Peace against Jund too, but it's kind of debatable if how great it is. But like against Scam, for example, I'm not going to bring Rest in Peace, but you could bring in Unlicensed Hearse. You could bring in something like Tormod's Crypt or Nile Spellbomb, if you like playing that sort of stuff. So that's just a consideration, but I think Rest in Peace is just so good against like Murktide specifically, and pretty good against Jund. There might be an argument that Hearse is better against Jund, because Jund is, depending on the list, they might be trying to turn on Delirium for Unholy Heat. They might try to, for their decks playing Urza Saga, they can have Ren 6 trying to target Urza Saga in the graveyard, things like that. So you can kind of get away with, removing onesies and twosies for most matchups, except for like Living End and Murktide, because I think Murktide can just fill the graveyard too fast, and then Living End, same kind of thing. Like you're going to struggle because they can just go so fast against that, 2 mana, exiling 2 creatures every game. They can still play through it. Okay, moving on. Tear Asunder. I really like Tear Asunder still. It's very good against the ring, and it's very good against kind of anytime you want that more artifact and enchantment based removal. I also really like it against Omnath decks, which we've seen a big uptick with Beanstalk, because it hits Leyline Binding, it hits the One Ring, and for 4 mana, which comes up pretty frequently late in the game, you can use it to exile, instant speed exile an Omnath. So it's kind of just a very great utility card in the early game if you're trying to look for artifact enchantment heat, or in the late game to exile anything. I like it a lot against Scam because it hits Blood Moon, it hits Fable, and then later in the game you can use it to exile Scam Grief, Scam Fury, or Hardcast Fury Grief, and that can be a big deal. And then finally I have Hidetsugu Consumes All. I think this is like the best sweeper, specifically for very good against Hammer Time, good against Rhinos, good against, any kind of artifact decks you'll run into, Hardened Scales, things like that. So also very good against Prowess. So I like Hidetsugu. In a lot of matchups, both Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 can be relevant, specifically against Prowess, against like food decks. So you come across a lot of things where I think Hidetsugu is really handy, and that's what one reason to play Nishoba Brawler over Goyf is it allows you to play these exile-based graveyard effects, which normally would be kind of a nombo. And then finally we have Jegantha. I think Jegantha is like one of the things that makes the deck very strong. It adds a lot of grind power to the deck that otherwise doesn't have a ton of kind of late game grind. Besides, we have Preordain to help a little bit with late game top decks, but Jegantha is very relevant in a lot of matchups. Very relevant against Murktide, Scam, Jund, kind of any of those sort of grindy matchups. Jegantha is huge. So I think Jegantha's in this kind of build is always worth playing over, yes, we don't get to play some pitch elementals, we don't get to play Force of Vigor, things like that, but I think Jegantha is worth the upside. So anyway, I've been traveling for the past 2 weeks, so I haven't been able to play a ton of Magic, so I'm looking forward to just running through a league here. And if you enjoy this kind of content, you can support me by subscribing to the channel. You can become a patron of the channel, or of my content. And again, check out that free sideboard guide. It's in the description. And I'll see you guys for round 1. Okay, starting off here with round 1, we've got a 7 that's a little awkward. I do have Basic Forest. I think I'm going to keep this. I've been kind of trying to be more conservative with mulligans. Again, unknown matchup. I'm on the play. I at least have I can go Savai Triome into Kavu on turn 2 as a 4/4. I think that's fine. You never know who you're going to be up against. I could be against Scam or Jund, and they just like destroy my hand anyway. So I'm going to keep this hand, even though it's not ideal. Obviously, if we would like a fetch land, so that we play Ragavan turn 1 into Kavu turn 2, but I don't think this is worth mulliganing in a blind matchup. Okay, opponent begins with 7 cards in hand as well, and so we're just going to start off. Basically, our only play is our Wooded Foothills, and then we will pass the turn. There could be a world where if my opponent plays like an Amulet turn 1, he's going to play Goblin Guide. That's fine. So now it's actually good. We'll play our Kavu turn 2 and then try to make the opponent 2 for 1. So there's a world where my opponent does exile the Triome I want, so I'm actually going to fetch it now. It's unlikely, but possible. Yeah, we get another fetch land. Okay, here I have a bunch of options here. Like, obviously, I could bind the Goblin Guide. I could dash Ragavan, and then bind the Goblin Guide. I think my best option, though, is to fetch Shock, which that's just to get that blue mana because I have Stub in hand, and then play my Kavu. And they'll either turn off the Goblin Guide from attacking, or it'll force the 2-for-1. I want to save this binding in case he has Eidolon. I know some lists have started to play Eidolon, so we're just going to go with that. Obviously, we don't love fetch shocking against burn, but in this case, that's going to be the move. So, opponent play Goblin Guy. Let's see what he plays turn 2 will tell us if he's got other threats in hand or if he's going to try to deal with it. Let's see if he what he goes for. Does hit the land drop, Inspiring Vantage, which he must have just drawn. So he goes second Goblin Guide. Okay, fine with this. I'm assuming he's going to attack here and then trade one of them. Yep, we'll get 2 triggers. We've got a binding on top. Okay, that's fine. Block, and I'm assuming he's going to bolt my Kavu. This is fine. So we have a few options here. We know we want to play Brawler. We might just play Brawler and hold up Stub. Obviously, he can bolt the Brawler, but I'm not too worried about that. I want to keep playing my threats out. The other option would be to play Ragavan. I could dash Ragavan. But I think I have so many threats in hand that I think I'm just going to play my Brawler and hold up Stub. I believe that's the best. This will shut down Goblin Guide or force him to use another spell on Brawler. And the longer this game goes, the more this benefits me. Just him being a kind of deck that needs the top deck. So I'm at 12, which is not a lot against burn, but it's turn 3, and I'm about to play another big threat. And then I've got 2 removal spells, which we might not even need to use. Okay, Swift Spear. Okay, so we probably will need to use one of these removal spells. Rolling Vortex. I could stub Rolling Vortex. I guess I don't have a good use of my mana otherwise, so I think I will. Although it's like not really great. It's a 2-mana spell to stub, which I'm not happy about. But let's see. It's going to save me a few damage of life. It's going to save me 3 turns. I guess I want to just be mana efficient here, I think. Right? Like if I use this, like my next turn, I would have to hold up stub again. I think I'm just going to use this to... It's not the greatest spell to stub. Okay, we get another Kavu, which is awkward because... So I could dash Monkey and force him to trade with Goblin Guide. Not sure exactly what I want to do here. Right, so I can dash Monkey. He probably blocks with Goblin Guide, maybe lets Brawler through, or you could try to double block. I could also not attack. I guess the problem with me attacking is one of his spells is going to get through. No, actually, I think it's fine to attack. I want to get the Kavu down. On the other hand, I can hold up Binding, or I could just play Ragavan. Let's see what he does here. He knows I have Binding, so he shouldn't block. So we could go Brawler and hold up Binding, which he knows I have. We could also deploy the Ragavan. I think we have 2 bindings, so I think this is fine. I'll just bind whatever, probably the Swift Spear. Okay. Okay. Nacatl on top, which is not bad, actually. We'll go to 10. I think my opponent's going to have a very hard time racing. So if I go Kavu plus Nacatl, my opponent's going to be on the back leg. I think that's what I'm supposed to do. I could obviously dash Monkey, but it's bad if he has a removal spell exactly for Monkey. I guess it's... I think this is fine. At 9. And then we'll go Nacatl, Kavu. I think he's going to have a hard time beating me at this point. Obviously, okay, yeah. So we played a little slow there. I was trying to talk through lines. Again, I don't know if countering the Rolling Vortex was the best call, but I think it just allowed me to be mana efficient. Like, it eventually was going to start hurting him, and it wasn't a ton of damage, but it was going to become a bit of a nuisance at that point in the game. So I just think it was smarter to utilize my mana here. Okay, so now we're going to use my sideboard guide. Again, you can get this for free in the link in the description or on my Twitter. So against Burn, we're not sideboarding a ton. So what we're going to take out is 2 of the Preordains, and we're just going to bring in 2 Flusterstorms. We obviously could board in more. We've got other cards, but the Preordains I've just found not to be great in this matchup because it's kind of just such a fast matchup that, you know, you're not really going to be dirtling a lot, have a lot of time. Like, in general, you're going to have more cards in your hand than what you're able to deploy in this matchup, which is kind of exactly what happened that game. I still had a Ragavan in hand. I still had, I think, a Brawler in hand, or, you know, whatever I had in hand, but I had a lot of options. So we'll take out 2 of those, and then let's bring in our 2 Flusterstorms, and then that's it. We're not going to go crazy. We could, of course, like go down on Brawler, go down, you know, you can bring in Chain of the Rocks, but I don't think that's, Chain of the Rocks isn't that useful because in order to cast it, you have to get Sacred Foundry. So you're basically fetching and shocking to then like chain a threat. So you're taking like 3 damage just to deal with a creature. I don't think it's a great exchange in this matchup. Normally I'm going to, especially on the draw, I'm most likely to just fetch Triome turn 1. But it depends on my hand, depends on my opponent's hand. But we kind of we're fortunate that like that sequence that I wanted, like I had that basic in hand, so it was helpful against Burn for life gain. So this hand is very bad. So it does basically nothing. The issue with this is if my opponent's hand is like all burn spells, but I could go turn 1 Savai Triome, turn 2 double spell potentially with like stub plus. His hand doesn't have any pressure, so it's kind of risky against Burn, but I am on the draw also. So I think we keep this. Obviously, like I'm being more, normally I would mulligan more aggressively, but I think on the draw with Preordain, maybe we can draw into more action here. We'll see. Okay, so opponent lightning bolts on turn 1. So what are they gonna try to jam an Idol on maybe? Very unexpected. Because that would mean they have no 1-drop in hand. Yeah, there's my Kavu. Perfect, right on time. So no 1-drop and also no other land because they played this first, Sunday Canyon, which is exactly what you like to see in a matchup where we're both kind of racing each other. So I don't know what my opponent's hand is. Let's see if he just jams an Idol on here. Oh, double Sunbaked Canyon. Okay. At this point, I'm just going to play Kavu. Let's see. The question is, do I play it as a... Do I want to fetch Shock to play it? I don't think so. I think with Steam Vents right there, I'm just going to play Forest and grab Forest, play Kavu. The 4/4, obviously, he can have Path to Exile or something like that, but that'll just ramp me further, so I'll get all my types then. And since I have this blue mana here, that's why I did not want to fetch Shock there. So now we have a threat. I don't think he has threats in hand, but next turn we potentially get StubBD online. We can dash Ragavan. We can do a lot of things. Maybe he's got Deflecting Palm here. Skullcrack, okay. And I don't think that he's going to win this race, but I guess it's possible. Like he's just going to tap out here. It's at 6. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, again, I don't think he has any creatures in hand. He would have played them at this point. So okay, Bolt's good. So do we have lethal is the first question. I don't think so, right? Because we want to dash Ragavan, swing for 7, and then probably hold up Stub. but we'd hold up Stub or Binding. So I don't think I can afford Shock here. So we want to play this tapped first. Let's go Dash Ragavan. It's kind of the question, do I want to just loot away Preordain or do I want to loot away Binding? I might just loot away a Binding here, try to dig for a removal spell, or sorry, burn spell. I don't think I'm going to need double Binding. Could be wrong, but we'll also have Binding up when Ragavan connects. Let's at 7. Okay, opponent's Searing Blaze. So the question would be, let's see, I'm dead to double burn spell. So I don't think I can afford to play this Nacatl as much as I want to. Because I think I have to just hold up Stub to stop a burn spell and then see what my opponent does here. But I also have Binding, so, and I have Bolt. So I have options. Again, I'm expecting a Skull, or not Skull Crack. I'm expecting maybe Deflecting Palm. What my opponent's plan is here. Very unusual hand, no creatures. Again, so he took damage from the Sunbaked Canyon. That actually helped me a lot. That's why I said that was so huge. Like, he took maybe like 3-4 damage this game just from those, and now I'm threatening lethal next turn. So he basically has to kill me this turn. And we're probably going to save this Stub for a Deflecting Palm. There's a world where he has 3 burn spells and he kills me. You know, last 3 1-mana burn spells. I just don't know here. I used 2 bolts, so I just don't know about the chances of that. Thinking about it a lot. He knows I have Ragavan in hand. So I guess he could have something like Skewer the Credits, like multiple Skewers, or you know, whatever. So it could make sense to stub the first one. But I guess if he had those, he would have just played them by now. If he does something like plays a Goblin Guide or something, I probably have to bind it. Thinking about this a lot. I don't know what happened to my chat window. What could he possibly have in hand that he's like still thinking about? Not really sure. Maybe he's thinking about, maybe he's got a creature in hand, is trying to decide if he should play it or not. The block, maybe. And he's trying to decide if he should attack with the Goblin Guide or Swift Spear, if he should attack with it or block, you know, what I could have. Opponent is really taking his time here. And again, this is why I was kind of talking about how, you know, we did see the one Preordain, but we boarded 2 of them out. It's just that, like, Preordain not that relevant in this matchup. Like, you know, I have 5, you know, I have so many cards to deploy from my hand that it's like I don't need to dig for more. Now I could, like, yeah, I guess if he gets rid of my Kavu somehow, and then like maybe I can Preordain for Tribal Flames or something, but realistically, I've got so many other options that, you know, it's just not that relevant, which is why I boarded it out. But we just happen to see the one of. And I was fortunate in my hands, these games were pretty good. I guess I drew into a lot more action here and didn't mulligan. Played conservative with, so I think this is usually how you kind of want to play the burn matchup. You know, I was fortunate my opponent had a weird hand. I don't know, he went like turn 1 Sunbaked Canyon plus Bolt, which is just a very unusual start. So let's see, I'm dead if he has, if I do this, there's a world where he has Deflecting Palm. However, I think we're going to stub this. So if he has Deflecting Palm, then I can still, he has to tap both these lands to do it. And I think I can, I think I have to do this because otherwise he has 2 of Skewer the Critics, and then I lose to that. So I have to do this. believe that's correct. Could still lose to double bolt. Okay. So again, I don't know what he had in hand. My guess is I think that was the correct play because this would enable his double skewer the critics. Right. Otherwise, I don't lose to. Otherwise, he has to have exactly like another lava spike plus skewer. So there's a world where he has just 2 skewer the critics. Also a world where maybe he has like Boros Charm or something. So that that was it. But there we go. We got there. Okay, I am back for round 2 here. We're going to be on the draw. This hand is fine. 4-lander, a little clunky, but I think it's a keep against unknown opponent. So we're just gonna keep this, or hope these stubs, or hopefully we draw into more action, or hopefully it's not a fast deck, so I can just play a turn 2 Scion and be comfortable with that. Steam Vents, probably Murktide. Okay, turn 1 Preordain. This is slightly annoying because my opponent will now be able to hold up Counterspell on turn 2. So unless I draw a 1-drop here, it'd be great. So opponent put 1 top, 1 bottom. Okay, it's not a Counterspell. So this is awkward because one problem is I could shock in Breeding Pool. It's gonna be very obvious I'm holding something up. Like I would like to be able to get Breeding Pool, but against Murktide, assuming this is Murktide, not Prowess, right? Because he doesn't have a companion. He's likely to hold up Counterspell, so it's just it's a little dicey. He could try Dash Ragavan and then hold up Spell Pierce or something like that. So I think I just have to play Windswept Heath pass, although I can't get a blue source with this, but I don't know a 2-mana spell he would play. Again, we're probably just going to have to throw our threats into Counterspell at this point. Okay, DRC, that's good for us. It means he can't hold up Counterspell. Very good for us, actually. So he's going to try to maybe high roll and get Delirium. Trying to think of what I want to get here. Do I want double Lou? I probably do with this hand. Okay, Bolt is interesting. So what can we do? He could have Dress Down main deck. I think that's pretty unlikely though. So I think we want to just play our Kavu. Obviously, like there is a world where he could have Spell Snare. Spell Snare is actually a distinct possibility. Okay, we're gonna play Scion because of Spell Snare. Maybe it's playing too scared. I would like to play Kavu against Murktide to turn on the kind of shrinkage of the graveyard, but I will play around Spell Snare. Also kind of plays around Dress Down too. Next turn. Maybe Spell Snares this. Yeah, does not Spell Snare it. So we will respect the either Spell Pierce or Spell Snare that I think he most likely has up. We also know he has no Consider by him doing that. What is he holding out? Maybe Archmage's Charm. Okay. So this should be pretty straightforward. I could try to get a basic now in case he's main decking Blood Moon. That's unlikely though. And we also are going to want double red. So I think the first move is to attack here. He could go Dress Down plus Bolt, but I have Stub here. So at 14. So we're going to play our Breeding Pool. Green red. Again, I'm expecting a Counterspell or Archmage's Charm. But we have Stub for that. Okay, he doesn't play either. Okay, we have Stub on. See what he goes with here. Okay, he just has nothing. So again, no Consider. We know he doesn't have, so he finally gets a Bobble. We know he doesn't have Consider. We know he doesn't have Counterspell. Or he's just playing very well around it. Maybe he's just trying to get a Murktide down. Should be able to keep him away from Delirium pretty well here. Okay, again, very confused what he's doing. He's swinging for a lot of damage. See if he tries to go Dress Down here. Okay, We're going to be swinging for so much damage. Do I even need to use this binding? I think I would just save that for a Murktide. I think we'll just exile this Preordain most likely. You shrink whatever Murktide could get played. Also, I do have, like, there's a world where I have lethal too, so I think we're in a pretty good position. He tries going Holy Heat here. Oh. Okay, pun's at 5. They could have double counter, and I'd still win. I could also just play. Could also just wait. Oh, I can't get double red, notably, because my red source is already down here, so they would actually win with double counter. Sorry, not win, but I think we just still go for it. This is a little annoying. Play land. Go. I think it's smart to still go for this. Although, is it smarter to maybe get a forest here and then go green red and then hold up blue blue for double stub? I think it is. Obviously, I'm playing very slow here, but I'm also trying to think of what my opponent possibly has in hand. Could have force negation. I want a second white source with this hand. Maybe I have 2 forests already. Maybe I just want a plains, go red. And I don't know what my opponent's doing. See if we'll find out if he has a counter. Okay. He finally has a counter. Okay. I don't know if it matters if I let this resolve or not. Oh, I punted there, actually. Oh, yeah, I was supposed to just counter the Spell Pierce. That was stupid. All right, you can see it anyway. I don't know if he's just being a good sport or what, but obviously I had the win. I just got cute thinking about what I was doing. Okay. Anyway, so Murktide, sideboard guide. So we're going to bring in, we're going to bring our Chained, our Tear Asunder, and our Rest in Peace. I was kind of confused what my opponent was doing, but, you know, whatever. Tear Asunder. Okay, so we're bringing 6 cards, and then let's look at what we're going to trim on here. So I like to trim on Bolt, Nacatl. Let's see, I have 2 Tribal Flames, 2 Brawler, 1 Bolt, 1 Nacatl. 2 Tribal Flames, 2 Brawler, 1 Bolt, 1 Nacatl. And I'm not sure about this like sideboard plan. I think this is fine. I guess the idea of trimming on a Bolt is that you have Chain to the Rocks kind of coming in as a similar like Bolt effect. I think there could be an argument to keep Bolt in on the draw. And maybe trim on one other creature just because of Ragavan, turn 1. You want all the hits you can to kill him. Yeah, so we're going to cut on 2 Tribal Flames just because they play Spell Pierce, things like that. And then, you know, I think 3 Bolts fine. So this is what I have in my sideboard plan now. I think I could see changing this to, I like Preordains, I think, in this grindy matchup. I think I could see that changing, like, I don't know, maybe cutting another Nacatl on the draw. But I don't want to go too low on threats. That's the problem. So that's another reasoning for cutting a Bolt. And the 2 Tribal Flames is you want to still be able to apply pressure in this matchup and in most matchups. So Brawler dies to Bolt, which this deck does play, although they have been playing it in reduced numbers compared to earlier. So some decks only play 2 or 3 copies. Some versions are only playing that. And Tribal Flame's just hard against a Spell Pierce counterspell deck. So it's just very hard to resolve. Sorcery speed, thing like that. So that's why I cut that. That's the logic here. We'll see how it plays out. Okay, this hand is a 5-lander. Ugh. I'm probably going to mulligan this. I just 5 lands is just too much. We have 2 pieces of interaction. Okay, this hand's much better. So we're going to put back probably a breeding pool. And we're on the draw here. So let's see what if he goes with turn. Okay, so no turn 1 Ragavan. Good for us. Okay, so let's think. This can get both our basics, so I think we want to save that. Now, we could Preordain right now. He's probably holding up Spell Pierce. We could jam Scion into a counterspell. We could jam Rest in Peace into a counterspell. We have options, but I think we're just holding up Foothills. This is showing he doesn't have Ragavan. Likely, let's see if we'll find out right now if he has Consider. He'll consider end of turn. He does nothing on turn 2. Okay, no Consider, no Ragavan. Does he not even have a second land? What the hell? Okay, so I'm guessing he kept hand made with Blood Moon. Again, I'm very confused what he could possibly have. But not my problem. So I think we'll go Savai Triome maybe. Unless he's just gonna like fizzle this or whatever, but I think that's unlikely. I want trying to think of if it makes a difference. I'll have green and blue on the same land no matter what. This hand's pretty blue heavy, but we're likely to just get a basic on turn 3 anyway. So we could have double forest or we could have double plains. I guess I'll get Zagoth with this hand. I don't know if that matters that much. Okay, so I have no idea what my opponent kept. Unless he literally kept a 1-lander with Blood Moon. But he's going to have a bad time because I'm just going to play my Scion. And then we'll just be holding up. I don't think he has a 1-mana way to counter this. He could have Subtlety, I guess. That would be the most annoying. So maybe that's what he has. I don't have a great way to play around it. I think we just have to jam. This plays around Spell Pierce, Spell Snare. But it doesn't play around Subtlety. Let's see if he has Subtlety. Yeah, he does. Okay, so he pitches Force Negation. So he's playing Force. That's good. I think we're just going to put this on top. We could try to find a 3rd land, but again, I don't have a threat, so I think we should put this on top. I think he's just holding up Spell Pierce. I don't know why he kept in Force Negation. Maybe that's because of Tribal Flames. I think this is a fine exchange. Like, I'm not too worried about that. He's squeezed on lands. We're just going to play it again next turn. Obviously, he holds up Counterspell. He holds up Counterspell. But, okay, cool. So he kept, what, a 1-lander with Subtlety and Blood Moon, probably? And then just didn't draw another land. But he didn't have Consider or Preordain either. So I'm just kind of very confused about what hand he kept. My only guess is, because I've seen this a lot against players, is some players will overvalue Blood Moon in matchup against Domain Zoo. And to be fair, like, Domain Zoo is like way less of a meta deck than it was. I still think it's very strong, but in terms of just meta popularity, it's much less so than it was even like, 3 months ago. So it's not in a lot of the sideboard guides these days that players are playing. So I think players just don't know how to sideboard for it. So the obvious thing is that Blood Moon is good, but I will see kind of scam players and Murktide players overvalue the Blood Moon, and they will keep bad hands with Blood Moon thinking that it will get them there. So in this case, I think he kept a 1-lander with Blood Moon just saying, oh, I'm going to get there, but he had no Consider, no Preordain, so no 1-drop. I don't know what his plan was, just to like Subtlety me until he can play a Blood Moon, I guess. I don't know. Round 3 on the play. Okay, we got the 1-lander finally, so we're going to mulligan this. This is much better. So we'll probably put back the basic forest, and then just play our Ragavan turn 1, Brawler turn 2. And then from there, we can, we can figure out what we need to do. Opponent begins with 7. We're going to keep back basic forest. Start off with the best turn 1 play in the game. Still, even with Bone Master in the meta, you're on the play. Feels so good to play Ragavan. Hopefully my opponent answers this with a blocker, and then I can bolt it and play my Brawler and go from there. Let's see. Otawara, probably Rhinos. Oh, Living End. Okay, even better to have Ragavan on turn 1. Okay. Probably take Brawler, I guess. Or Preordain, maybe. Gotta take Brawler, I think. He plays Otawara, so he doesn't have another land right now. Another blue source, at least, or else he wouldn't have played his Otawara. Try to save it for as long as possible. Really think about this one. I think you take Brawler, but obviously I could Preordain into something. But without Brawler, I can't even turn on Stub, so... You know, we're still 2 turns away from Living End at the quickest. Again, Ragavan's like one of the best starts against Living End. Just have a hard time dealing with it for the standard lists, unless he's playing Fury. Well, he takes Preordain, okay. Oh, Kavu's even better. Let's see, he could have Subtlety, but first we're going to attack. Hidden Ent, which I can't Forest Cycle. I can only hard cast. Okay, so the decision point is, do I want to get... I could get Zagoth Triome right now, make my Kavu a 5/5. He knows I have Bolt in hand. So the alternative would be to just say, hey, I'm just going to get green-blue mana right now and save the treasure, and I could potentially Bolt him or something later. I am going to miss out on 1 point of damage that way. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to save this treasure if I can. Although, again, you could argue to make my Kavu a 5/5 might be more important. Is we'll probably keep making... He probably doesn't have a way to deal with Monkey, so we'll probably keep making treasures. But I could Bolt him. If I just play Zagoth this turn, make my Kavu 5/5. Problem is, I don't know if I'm going to draw another land. I think I'm going to get 5 types here. Very close. But I think I'd rather have 5 types than... If he has Subtlety, he does not. Now we can start exiling his good cards from his graveyard. He's going to have a very tough time winning, I believe. We'll exile the Grief. I mean, I guess he could still try Living End for the very strong. He plays Beseiju, so he's choked on mana. Let's see if he can play Waker. End of turn, which would be annoying. Yeah, we get a Wooded Foothills anyway. So now I attack for a lot. And then I have to think how I want to do this. He's gonna... If I just play Brawler, he's gonna Living End. Is there a world where I try to loot this to find something else? I don't think so. I think we just exile his Grief. Got 11. Exile Living End, which I want to keep in his hand. I could actually suspend Living End. Hilarious. I'm not going to say no, I can't pay the suspend cost. Okay, so the classic question, do I play Brawler or not, right? He's at 11, so it's not quite lethal. Although if he fetches, I'm very close to lethal with Bolt. I could keep the Foothills in hand to potentially, if he doesn't go off, then I could try to loot that away instead of shrinking his graveyard. But I think we keep Foothills in hand and don't play Brawler. We have a lot of pressure on board. He knows about Bolt. Yeah, so I knew he was going to probably cycle Waker. This won't be that big of a Living End here. If he has it. He has to have land. He's going to take damage from the land too. Okay, so he gets Riverwinder in the graveyard. It's pretty good because now his Living End is sizable. Could Bolt Ragavan. I don't think that's correct though. In response to Living End. We just try to fight through it. Yes, I have a 3rd land now. Assuming with him thinking about things he does not. Yeah, he does have the 3rd land. There's a 9. Yeah. So we might just lose here. It's kind of like, is what it is. They did their thing. That Waker really saved him. We had our fastest start, but I could bolt Shardless, so he's got 12. So annoyingly, he drew exactly a shock land, not a fetch land. So he's actually, I can't even Tribal Flames him for lethal. I could, say I'm at 9, 16. So I could bolt the Shardless now, play Brawler, trade with Riverwinder. I'm going to take 11. It's going to be very hard to win this, obviously. He did the thing. I could also draw, what could I draw here? Draw Tribal Flames. I think we have to bolt Shardless to try to just keep us alive. There's a world where I top deck like Binding, maybe. Yeah, I mean we had the Kavu into Ragavan into Kavu. It just wasn't quite fast enough. Maybe it was correct to maximum punished. So we could have looted at one point instead of exiling the Grief, and we probably would have won there. But I don't think that was correct. I mean, maybe I'm supposed to just like dig deeper for Stub, but I think I had to just try to make his living on smaller. Again, he had to have exactly that. So play this, trade with Riverwinder. Oh, I can't trade with Riverwinder. I guess it's a 4-3 against the stupid Waker. All right, now I'm really in trouble. I shouldn't have bolted when I did, because now I just have to chomp. So now this game's over. Okay, well, that was fun. So if we had gotten a Binding, I still think it was correct to exile the Grief and just keep their graveyard small. Like he ended up playing a Waker into a Riverwinder, which is about as good as he could have gotten with that. They're literally his 2 best cyclers, except for maybe another Grief put in the yard, but even then would have been that effective. So, you know, it is what it is. I think I just, you know, I think I do that. I think I'm supposed to do that, not try to cycle into something. Is not lethal. Not sure what his plan is. He can try hard cast a Curator probably. Right, 9 plus 7 is 16. Yeah, so I'll go to 1. So I could top deck a Tribal Flames here and actually win. If he has another creature. I think he's just going to hard cast a Curator though. Or something. He goes Outburst. I have a counter for it. Is he Otawara? No, he already uses Otawara. Not sure what this would be. Oh, he doesn't have red mana for Outburst. So maybe Outburst plus Force. So I'll choose not to cast. Stubborn. He probably has a, he probably has a Force in hand, but still gotta try. If he doesn't, there's a world where I top deck Bolt or Tribal Flames or Preordain and can win. You want to look at his revealed cards too to just gather as much information as possible. His entire deck, he's out of living ends. So 1 at 1 here. Grief, and Troll. So he's playing Troll. Very interesting. Troll. Really in the Troll mana base. That's why it's probably was so messed up. If he misclicks here. Unlikely. I gotta see his like whole deck here. Again, he's gotta not select it. Yep. Does he have Force Negation? Not. We can win with the top deck Bolt. Or Preordain or Tribal Flames. He's just gotta give me priority. Really thinking about this one. Still thinking about it. Maybe he's double queued. I don't know that there's another event going on right now. Maybe a prelim or something. Do you have Force? Probably. Usually he does. He doesn't have Force. Taking his time. He said it's very laggy on his end, so that might be why. Doesn't know what my last card in hand is. Do you have Force? Do you have Force? Do you have Force? Did not have Force. Yeah, there's a world where we win this. I need Preordain plus Bolt. I need Tribal Flames. He could also be, I guess there's a world where he's holding Force for exactly a lethal burn spell, but then he would lose to Dash Ragavan. Do you have Subtlety main deck? Most likely, yes. Force. No Subtlety main deck. No, he has Ents and Trolls instead of the red one. I don't know. My opponent's having maybe some connection issues or something. I just want to see what I top deck here. So we have, let's see, two Preordains in the deck, 3 Bolts. That'd be 5. Okay, yeah, it's a Frad's his turn. Yeah, so sorry, I'm an idiot. He's on his turn still, so he can't cast Force. So he could sell a Force in hand. So I could still lose too, but maybe a Ragavan could win. Is another out that could win. So, oh, actually, Ragavan won't win because it'll get -1, -0 from this. So, brutal. Didn't crack a fetch. So we need exactly Bolt and him to not have Force. Plus blue card. Force plus blue card is what you would need. You might have. All right. Let's see what we got. Upkeep stop. Upkeep, stop. Yeah, really him getting this Waker like saved him, I think. But, you know, that's how the deck works. I don't think any creature. Yeah, because Ragavan can would put him at 1. So I need exactly Bolt or Tribal Flames and him to not have Force. That's not going to do it. So we had some looks at it, you know, about as close as you can get against Living End game 1. So I wonder what he'll bring in. Subtlety, maybe. Try to slow me down. Yeah, interesting game. It's not often that you lose with Domain Zoo on. I guess I was on the draw. On the draw this game. No, I was even on the play. It's not often you lose on the play with turn 1 Ragavan into turn 2 Kavu, even against Living End. But he was still able to fill his graveyard enough, find exactly the land he needed, and I didn't have stub. So, and I don't know what my opponent's doing. So, looking at the sideboarding for Living End in my sideboard guide, we're going to go ahead and just cut a Tribal Flames, and then we're going to cut 4 Leyline Bindings. And those are just kind of the least impactful. Tribal Flames can be good to close out a game, but like can also be awful against or awkward against a Force Negation deck. So that's why we're going to cut 1, and then we just want to get rid of the Bindings. They're just not really relevant. Everything else we want to keep in. Preordain's good because it'll allow you to dig for that hate piece you need. And then we're going to bring in 2 Fluster, 2 Rest in Peace. And then I think the last card, I think I do bring in Veil of Summer because we have it. Not the most amazing card, but we're on the play. It can kind of save you from the game. Obviously, it's bad if they like don't have grief, but you can still cycle it. So can also protect you against a Force Negation sometimes, you know, things like that. So I think it's worth bringing in. On the draw, you could debate whether it makes sense, but we're on the play, so we'll just go with it. And most likely, we're going to just play a threat turn 1 though. And then hold up Veil for later turns, because usually they don't like to grief on turn 1. They can sometimes, especially when they're on the draw. They might be more likely to do that, but a lot of times they want to wait until a later turn to kind of take that hate piece. You know, wait till the turn that they Living End to protect their combo. Notably against Living End, like Living End is actually a pretty hard. Actually, it says my opponent disconnected. We'll see if they have. But anyway, so I have played a bunch of Living End, and I've I've played a fair bit of Living End, and I've also I'm a member of Menino Nay's Patreon, so you can check that out if you want to play Living End or are interested in sideboard guides, things like that. But he talks a lot about in his deck guide for this matchup. He says this is a very tough matchup for Living End, mostly because we attack the combo from so many angles. So we are obviously we're playing blue permission, which means Flusterstorm, Stubby D, 6 pieces of 1 mana interaction. Now we've got Preordain, so we can dig for permission more easily too. And we also have enchantment-based 8 in terms of Rest in Peace. So that means your opponent is going to try to have to decide: do I bring in enchantment hate? Do I bring in other, more permission to fight permission, things like that. We also play Kavu, so we also play some creature-based graveyard hate. So in combination, we have in combination with all those things, we also have a fast clock. So, my opponent can't just not do anything. Like, I'm going to force him most of the time to Living End on turn 3, like, even if it's not ideal for him. That's what we're going to do. So it is a tricky matchup for them. For Zoo, I feel like I don't know if I'd say it's favorable. Obviously, you still lose some games, like just now, just because their deck is so powerful. So when they do the powerful thing, it's really good. This hand is very good against Living End. we've got 2 pieces of interaction and then Ragavan. So I don't think he has a way to deal with Ragavan, so we're going to keep this. Obviously, we would like another 2-drop threat. Maybe we'll draw into it, but we'll go from there. Village player monkey, turn 1. See what my opponent does. They did bring in subtlety for this. Okay. I think we have to put it on top. I mean, it's just kind of annoying, but that was their turn 1 answer, Ragavan. Like, we could very well lose this game. We have to keep it on top, I think. We could very well lose this game. It's not out of the question. Okay, Grief, so he's going to take... So he's just got kind of the nut start. He's only got 3 cards left to hand, so let's hope he doesn't have other good stuff. We're just going to dash monkey here, I think. I'm trying to think for a second what I want to do here, right? I could play Temple Garden. I kind of need blue mana. We could just get like green-blue here, but I can't get 5 types that way. I think we'll just dash monkey. Obviously, if he has another, you know, he's got another subtlety, he's got another subtlety, and I'll just live with it. This isn't the most pressure I'm applying, but when you have 2, you know, playing against opponent with 2 pitched elementals, so I'll see what he pitched. He's pitched a Riverwinder and, Living End. I didn't count any Living Ends he was playing. I think he's only playing 3. So, exiled a Misty, which is actually very good for me because I don't know if he's going to be choked on mana or not. He has at the end of turns. He gets the Troll, or he gets Generous End. Okay. So he's got his land. So again, he's going to be set up to turn 3 Living End most likely. Right now I have an answer for it with Stub. But we'll see. We're not applying much pressure at the moment. And he went down a lot of cards there. So, yeah, he got Breeding Pool last turn. I don't know what he could be holding up. Maybe another Troll or something. Cycler. So again, he could still Living End turn 3. Quite possible. We'll probably just have to keep dashing monkey unless we draw action. No, we don't. Okay. I want to fetch shock for no reason, right? Because we can get green black and then dash monkey. But we're fetching and shocking to do that, and life total might actually matter in this matchup. The other option could be dashing. We're just gonna dash Ragavan. We have so many treasures and stuff that we're never gonna use them all. Yeah, not much pressure here, unfortunately. Now he can just wait to pay the tax on Stub. Like, I don't know what I would hit from his that I can even cast. Not much. Yeah, I can't. I don't have a black card to pitch for Grief, and I'm 1 mana short of just hard casting his Grief, which would have been amazing. Okay. Player Wooded Foothills, go from there. Yeah, no pressure here. He knows about Stub, so gonna either wait a turn or what, but we might just lose this match. I mean, it is what it is. He just had turn 1 subtlety, Grief. Street Wraith probably looking for a land. Looks like he does not find it, notably. I'm going to Savai Triome here. Because I want to get a black source, but I also want red mana. I wish I had more pressure. Oh, that's a good one. Alright, I guess we'll fight over this then, huh? So... yeah, I need to play this first, I believe. I could dash monkey first. What would be the reason to do that? Maybe he tries to subtlety it. I don't think so, though. This is going to be a long game. Also try to shock this in. Shock in Temple Garden to be able to save a treasure. Not great, though, if he doesn't have a counter. I just lose life for no reason. try to not use my treasures, basically. We have Dispute, though, so I think we're going to do it. That's not how you cast a spell. We're going to go white, red. Gotta use his force here. Was this? I think it was more correct to dash monkey there, actually. First, could have hit a force negation or something like that. Whatever. It has another subtlety. And I'm just gonna put that. Do I want to put on top deck? I have nothing, so I think so. I can start I'm like, now I have enough mana to actually cast stuff from his deck. I don't know if we'll see if he has a way to deal with Rest in Peace. Another land. Give me something good. I get an outburst. So I could try to cascade into something right now. It's kind of risky though. I don't cascade in a creature. I think I just do it anyway. I got nothing going on. Please not a stub. Oh man. Alright. Took a risk, didn't pay off. But it's fine. Now I'm not going to draw that, I believe. Right? It's okay. Okay. I was hoping to hit like Kavu, Brawler, Nacatl, Bolt, Tribal Flames. It's really going to dig deep for this one. Was he trying to find third land? Again, I don't know what he's kind of running out of time now. It's the third land. See if he has, I guess he could have like Force of Vigor or something. Probably gonna try hard cast Shardless next turn. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. But so I am 2 mana short from casting this. So I guess the problem is if I play Nacatl, right? And he if I play Nacatl and he goes for it, like let's say maybe he has end of turn, the thing that destroys this. I guess next turn he still couldn't go for it. He could cycle one creature. I think it's just bad though if he has it, he can still use it as a board wipe. But he needs one more land to do that. So we're gonna just play around that. Maybe that's I don't know if that's correct though. What do you bring in? Brief, Beseju. Okay. So do we want to bolt the Shardless now? Or it's gonna eat my monkey. We have mana, so we could always wait to bolt the Shardless. But it's less good because I could use up a mana that I could use to get something from his deck. So I guess we wait to see, because if we get Tribal Flames, then we can win. Okay, so that's going to help us, right? Because we can go green, green. Now my monkey has first strike. Scion of Draco. Red, red. Dash Ragavan. Now I also have stub turned on. Now my Ragavan has first strike and haste. Does it make sense to play Nacatl here or not? All right. Yeah. All right, we got there. Okay, we ended up winning that game. That was good. We just run it back. I think I still want Veil. Maybe I don't want Veil on the play. I don't know. Fourth Tribal Flames, like, you know, there's not really a right answer for this. You could, I guess, I could Purge. No, that's even worse. We'll keep Veil in. I don't know if that's correct, but I got in the sideboard, so I think it's probably better than the fourth Tribal Flames, even on the draw. All right, so now he knows what I have. I don't think he brought in any enchantment or artifact. I guess he had Boseiju, and we knew that was standard, though. He had Otawara, so now he should bring in some enchantment and artifact hate. Like Foundation Breaker is probably the one he'll bring in. He saw Scion, too. But we also have Flusters. The problem is he knows about the Flusters now. He knew about the subs before, so I don't know if it matters that much. Oh, man, I don't know. I mean, this is a hand that, like, is a very fair hand. If he has turn 1 Grief, I probably just lose. I'm on the draw. I probably need at least one hate piece. I don't know. Maybe that's not correct. Like, this is because I'm playing Ragavan turn 1. The problem is, like, playing Ragavan turn 1 and then Brawler Nacatl turn 2. He kept 7. So, I don't know. He probably has Grief. Maybe it doesn't make a difference. I think we keep, because at least we have Kavu in here. Put back basic Forest. Just, like, pray. I don't know. Maybe let's just go to 5. I just don't know. He kept 7. He probably has Grief, so at least he can't Grief both my Kavus away. Looking like he's going to cycle something to try to find a black card for Grief or a Grief. Yeah. So he could also be waiting to Grief. Possible. I don't know if this hand is actually better than my 7. I mean, it's got 2 Kavus in it. I guess that's worth something. Okay, so he has Grief anyway. Pitches Living End. Yep. Probably takes Nacatl. That's what I would do. I guess you could take a Kavu. Oh, I guess I have only creatures, so that's the benefit of just doing this to him. He's got to take Nacatl then. He doesn't want to reanimate one of my big creatures, I don't think. Yeah. I guess I should have thought about that with this hand. I think the last hand might have been all creatures too. Are we gonna try him? So he's gonna have perfect information, but I think I want to get 5 types. So he can't really brief me again. He knows my hand, so he shouldn't. Yeah, was that last... I forget if that last hand had any non-creatures. I guess he could just put like a Ragavan in the yard, which isn't that big of a deal. Okay. There's a second land. So we'll see. I mean, if he just goes turn 3 Living End, I probably lose. We have to just hope he doesn't have it. We'll go Zagoth Triome here, player Kavu. Got a shock, yep. He doesn't have red mana right now, which is relevant. Of course, he can dig for whatever he needs. Yeah, subtlety. Not what we wanted to see. Just gotta pray. Subtlety. Dude, what is this hand? What is this start? All right, now we can. I mean, when Living End draws well, you basically have no agency in the matchup. Like, if he just goes Living End here, I just lose. Yeah, he doesn't have a land, notably. So another chance to resolve a Kavu. How we want to see. Chance to thin further, perhaps. Get another Triome, maybe. I don't know. I think of what I want to play here. Also, just not play anything. Let's see if he has it. Could have played Tomb Tap there, but I'm gonna just thin instead. Just steam vents. Okay. So we could play Rest in Peace. I could loot. If I play Rest in Peace, loot away the tomb. Think for a second. The other option is I can get rid of one of these cards in here, right? But at this point, does it matter that much? I guess if I resolve Rest in Peace, none of this matters. So let's just resolve Rest in Peace, huh? Do I need red sources? Makes most sense here. I guess let's do this. I'll have one white source. That makes it easy. Yeah, force. Okay. So now we can safely loot away the tomb, maybe. Keep the fetch. Or we could loot away the fetch. We don't know what we're going to draw. Loot away the tomb. Ragavan, okay. Not the worst draw. So obviously it's bad if he has exactly Foundation Breaker into whatever, but I think at this point I just take that risk. Got the blowout play. He's got the blowout play. Another subtlety. Okay, so Foundation Breaker into... I guess if Living Ends here, he'll wipe my board, but I can still Dash Monkey, so it's not that big a deal. And we don't have lethal yet. If he plays a land and passes, and now I have lethal. So now he's got to wipe my board. Like, actually kind of annoying because now it'll just wall Ragavan. Did I overcommit here? Not sure. I don't think so. Can we Dash Monkey, trade with Shardless, grab Jegantha? Or am I just throwing away Ragavan for no reason and try to get him to... I mean, that's the most mana efficient thing to do, so we're just going to do that. I wonder if I was supposed to play that Scion there or just wait. Because he could still wipe my board, so I shouldn't have maybe not overcommitted. And, you know, he just puts a Shardless on... Yeah, maybe that was a pun. I'm not sure. I don't know if that was correct. Now I'm having regrets. I think I have to threaten lethal, though, or else you can just wait another turn. But maybe I should just played around the board wipe. Now we're in the weird hardcast spells mode. Cycles. Finds a land. You can hardcast subtlety here. I already used a lot of subtleties. And we just have to go for it, though. Why we have it. You have your third subtlety, I believe, or second subtlety. No, it's just second subtlety. I didn't have a way to play around that. Second subtlety. That's fine. Probably bottom it, honestly, because I have Brawler here. I have the possibility to double spell next turn. That's not correct, though. No, I'm going to bottom it. Okay. He does have a clock if he gets like a Curator down. Kind of annoying. It's kind of crazy, too, that could still lose this game. Again, could still lose this game. Don't have another subtlety, dude. Okay. I don't think he can attack with subtlety unless he has another creature to block. Yeah, maybe I overcommitted there, and that should be on me. I'm not sure. I have to think about it a lot more. Yeah, good for me. Look at a 4. Another subtlety. No. So I don't know what 5 drops he has. He could play a 6 drop, I guess. Which I don't even know what 6 drops he has. How much is N? N is 6. Play this. Oh, hardcast. Okay. So I can force him to do something about this. Goes to 1, I think. Yeah, he goes to 1. We'll play Shardless. Nice. All right, we got there. Against the Living End. When I had 1 minute left on his clock. Sorry, that's a really long game. Again, I'm really just uncertain about that line of did I need to play Scion when I played it, or should I just play it around the board wipe? I'm not sure. That's the only thing I didn't feel great about that game. All right, now on to round 4. For round 4, we're 3-0 so far. My hand is good. I am on the draw. We're going to keep. And let's see what my opponent is on. Both of us being with 7. Black Blue Cliffs looks like scam. Thoughtseize could be Jund. My hand's pretty good though. We're playing against a Bowmaster deck, so we're most likely going to lead with the Windswept Heath into Nacatl here. Although what my opponent takes should reveal a bit. I assume he's going to take maybe a Brawler, maybe a Binding. We'll see. Again, I'm expecting this to be scam, but we'll see. They could be trying to turn 2 scam me. They might take Binding then. I don't really have a great way to play around it. So we're likely just go Windswept Heath, Temple Garden, and then next turn we can get Steam Vents. Or sorry, turn 2 Steam Vents, play Brawler. That's probably what our line's going to be. I'm expecting Bowmaster, so I'm not going to play a 1-1 Nacatl. If he wants to trade a Nacatl with a Bowmaster ping, I'm fine with that. Do whatever you want. And trade down in mana if he wants. Really think about this a lot. I think Stubby D is probably my weakest card in this kind of matchup. Takes the Binding. So I'm thinking he's going to scam a Fury or Grief next turn. But that doesn't really change what I'm going to do. Don't really have a choice. None of our line is set. Play our 2/2 to dodge Bowmaster. Now let's see if he tries to scam a Grief or a Fury here. He does nothing, then it's pretty easy. I just attack with Nacatl. And he can decide how he wants to chump and do everything with Bowmaster. I don't really care. Still could be Jund, though. Although with this land, these lands probably scam. And maybe he didn't have the turn 1 scam, although on the play, it can be good to Thoughtseize and then still do the turn 2 scam. Even if turn 2 scams me, though, I'm still not in terrible shape. Like, he'll take probably Kavu and Brawler, and I still have some pressure on board, so there's a world where I can race him. Two mana. Salty. Not that scary. Let's see. I could get got by Blood Moon, so that could be a reason to play Nacatl, but he knows about the stub, so decisions, right? is there's a world where he has exactly Blood Moon. Main deck. Be kind of gross. Yeah, I did crack my fetch. Let me get it. So I think in that case, we'll just play around it. Or like Fable. I'll stub a Fable. He could be trying to scam Fury again to like get me to overcommit, but that's fine. I have 2 Nacatls on board. And I'll with it. 4 cards in hand. Obviously, I'm holding up stub. He knows that. But maybe I can draw another land and I can play like Kavu plus something else to... Okay. And scam your grief, sure. I guess he's gonna try to play something I have, like Scion. Still not that scary though, because I can still play another creature, so he can like sack his Dothy to do something. But he's still gonna have to win this race, which I don't know. I'm gonna do 6 to him a turn. See his Fatal Push or something. Is he gonna take like a Scion maybe? Sack Dothy, or play Kavu or something. Kavu will be small for him, so he's got to take Scion, I think. That'd be kind of annoying. So he can sack this, and then he can, well, yeah, then I'll be in worse shape. I guess that's what his line was. Again, I think I played around it correctly. Like, I guess the alternative I could just played Kavu there, and at least had a bigger threat on board already. But, you know, he goes turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Dothy, turn 3 Scam Grief. It happens. Now he should play the Scion. Now I need a removal spell. Not sure why he is doing this right now. Oh, I guess maybe because he still has to obey those casting rules. Also, his Grief gets lifelink now, which is like really devastating for me. So I guess this was really bad. Preordain into like what do I even find at this point? This is gonna be really rough to win this race. Like I could Preordain into, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that was just such a devastating sequence of events. He's gonna attack me for 8 and then gain 4. So I just don't know how I win this exactly. I mean, it's just so bad. Like this is just kind of the classic scam experience. Like you try to play your deck and you just get blown out by the nuts from scam. So it is what it is. I don't have any regrets like that. I had no way to play this any differently. I can try to Preordain into something, a removal spell. I guess I maybe should have done that last turn. Have a lot of looks at it. Okay, so that's not a great look. Okay, so we do have a land. So what do we want to do here? Preordain first. Or should we discard something first? Oh, I could have double blocked the Grief, actually. Why didn't I do that? Why am I so dumb? You could have another Undying spell. If I attack with everything... Then we Preordain first. Although I guess looting with Kavu gets us 1 deeper. Like we can loot away Brawler. Preordain. Looking for a binding. Oh, come on, dude. Do you just have everything? Do you just have fucking everything? Are you kidding me? This is so ridiculous. Okay, I should have double blocked Grief last turn. That was a mistake. But he could add another Undying spell and blow me out even further. Alright, we can't. That doesn't help us. Okay, does that help us? Not really. It's my guy's first strike, but like I can trade with his Scion, I guess. I just have to like hope this works, right? No, I can't because I go to 1, right? Fetch shock, go to 1, and then I have 4 blockers for 4 attackers, but I have to double block the Grief, so I can't win with that. I could attack and loot into something. I don't know how I win this. When it just like destroyed me. Yeah, I have to do this. Doesn't feel good. So that doesn't really change anything, does it? Right, I can't stop the Scion. Okay. GG. I got totally smoked. I mean, I don't think that was, I think that was kind of just the nuts. Like, Turn 1 Thoughtseize. I'm on the draw. Turn 1 Thoughtseize. Turn 2 Dothy. Turn 3 Scam Grief. Turn 4 Bowmaster. So anyway, how are we going to board against this matchup? So we are going to take out the stubs. I don't really like stub that much in this matchup. It doesn't do that much against discard and stuff like that, so I don't care about that. We're going to bring a Veil. It's kind of like better stub for this matchup. We're going to bring our Tear Asunders. We're going to bring our Chain to the Rocks. And we're going to bring our Celestial Purge. I don't like bringing in Rest in Pieces. And we're going to cut on... this is the draw. No, we're on the play. Okay. So we're going to cut 2 Tribal Flames, 1 Brawler. What I have here is they play Bolt. I think there's an argument to... I thought about this a lot. Like, do I want to just keep Tribal Flames in? Maybe cutting 2 Tribal Flames isn't correct, and I'm supposed to just cut all 4 stubs and just, not worry about it. Like, if he Blood Moons me, I just, live with it, or I can play around it on the play. That might be correct. It's just another removal spell against, like, their scam stuff, but it's not great on, like, a board where you're behind. All right, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to deviate already from my sideboard guide on the play, at least, and just take out all 4 stubs. Well, the stub's better on the play than the draw, so... Cool. Mulligan against Scam. Okay, this hand's fine. Some people will say, like, oh, don't you not like, Ragavan into Bowmaster? And, like, I don't know. He'll do his job. If like, my opponent has to have exactly Fatal Push or Fury turn 1 to deal with him. So keep Foothills or Flooded Strand. So most likely go red-white on turn 1. Red-white. This gets plains, that's nice. This gets forest, probably more important, so. See, he kept 7 again, so he might just have the scam thing and I just lose. What it is. See what he's got. Do the scam thing. He plays his own Ragavan, that's like very annoying. Yep. Again, my Kavu can get Furied, but it is what it is. We're just gonna keep the pressure on and go from there. If he has the scam now. Scam Fury, maybe. Fatal Push could also be a card. A lot of the list trimmed on bolts. Like, I know the Pro Tour players were, okay, now he's just going to scam Fury. Okay, no scam. So probably holding up Bowmaster or Blood Moon. Oh, that's very big. That is very big. Because that allows me to fetch a forest if he goes Blood Moon here. I think he's likely to do. But obviously go Bowmaster. So we know his hand is, he doesn't have Grief, he doesn't have Thoughtseize, I think he would use them. He doesn't have Bowmaster, so I'm expecting Blood Moon here. Not actually that big deal though with his hand. Yeah. White border Blood Moon. Get my forest. And we play through it. I think we're gonna Ludway Scion. Play it. Tear Asunder. We could Tear Asunder now. What would be the reason to do that, though? I guess I do a bunch of damage. Or should I just wait on this Blood Moon? No, we'll just do it now. Push through damage. Maybe that wasn't correct, though. Maybe I should have just like played Kavu first. But he could have Furied my creatures now. He's got to... I don't know. I think that was fine. He showed he didn't have an Undying effect. He could hard cast Grief here. I'm okay with that. Thoughtsy's annoying. It's really annoying if he goes like Thoughtseize here. Bowmaster. Okay. Cool. So now he can get one of my threats back, unless I bind this Dothy. So I could bind this Dothy and then... I guess the issue is he has discard, right? So... So what's the best sequence here, right? I can play Brawler. So I obviously want to play Kavu. I don't think he has anything in hand. So it's bad if he has like exactly Bolt, but he's already used a Bolt. He could just like hard cast a Fury. So what is it? Exiled with a Void counter on it. Where are they at? I don't know where the Void counter cards are. Because he terminates it. Went to my graveyard, right? Where's terminate exile target creature? Okay. I guess this is fine. Like, I guess it's annoying if he Undying Evils it, but I think we'll play... Oh, I can't Binding for 1 mana. What am I doing? Okay. That makes it easy then. The Kavu. Hope he doesn't have land in a Fury. Yeah, sorry. I thought Binding was 1 mana. I forgot I only have 3 types. 4 types. Dude, you're so annoying. Will you let me do anything? Okay, Preordain's good. Preordain for what exactly? Another land, maybe? Or threat? I guess it into Bowmaster is bad. Let's see. Land allows me to get 5 types, which is actually pretty good. Because what am I supposed to do? Because Veil doesn't protect me that much at this point. And Strand, I can't get Strand, but I can't get 5 types this turn. So I think I'm supposed to... Oh, it's so bad, though. Like, just to do all this to get 5 types. I guess I can get a Plains with Veil, but do I even care about that at this point? Or sorry, with Flooded Strand. I guess I can do both of them. Let's just do both, right? So let's go put on top of your... Or let's put this on top. I don't know that drawing Veil's that useful, though, here. Put this on top. Yeah, why did I do that? I could have gotten Veil. I could have had Veil up. That was stupid. No, I couldn't have. Could have Bowmaster. We could just bind the Dothy now. Like, I don't know what the Dothy's gonna do. 3 more damage to me. But he can also discard stuff, so we'll just play our... I don't know if that was the correct sequence. Maybe I was supposed to dig deeper. He doesn't. So we know he's not Bowmaster. Okay, he's gonna Grief here. Don't have 5 types, and I don't have a way to do this. Okay. Oh, did I have a... No, I can't get Untapped Black Source with Flood Strand. That's just like very unfortunate on my part. Like, just really very devastating for me. I didn't sequence that right. I don't think. Maybe I should have just kept Veil. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what I was supposed to do. Don't know. Now Veil is like such a bad draw. And I have to shuffle it away. I guess we'll hold on to it. I mean, are we just going to lose to him? Does he have a Scion exiled with... How do I see, like, what is exiled with these counters on him? Oh, he doesn't have Scion. He has Kavu. Okay. I'm going to get burned by not getting a black source. I go 6. Grab Jegantha with those 2 up. I don't know if I'm playing this right. I feel like I didn't play this optimally at all. Like I think that sequence with like I'm getting a planes for like is this Jegantha gonna be relevant? No, probably not. What's he most likely have in hand? Fury. I'm just gonna lose to 2 turn attacks from Dothy. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to dig for deeper stuff. So frustrating. So okay, now we just lose. Yeah, I guess just getting the Veil at this point was just was the wrong move. I needed to bottom maybe both those, and I could have dug for something else. Yeah, this is just frustrating. Obviously, Scam best deck in the meta, but like I don't think I played this game well. I think I lost because I didn't play it correctly. Like I could have gotten 5 types earlier, and maybe I could have I could have binded something. Like it was just like clunky. Oh man, I don't know, right? Because I can't block Dothy, and that's the game. So the only way I win is if he plays a black spell, but he's not gonna do that. Yeah, this is so bad. Veil should have been bottomed. Just an idiot. Yeah, so Preordain, I don't know, I'm just not happy with how I played this one. Like it was just thought I'd be in a good spot, but I don't know. I just need to dig for a removal spell for Dothy. Maybe I should have used. Did I have a chance to use a removal spell? I guess I had the chance to use bind the thing on Dothy. Yeah, I guess I had a chance to bind Dothy earlier in the game, and I should have done that. And then he just, I was so close this game, I think, but I think I just had some misplays. And obviously, game 1 was I had no agency in that one. He just had the nuts, and you know, you lose. But I think I could have played better. I don't know. Very frustrating. I think I was supposed to maybe deal with the Dothy earlier, just because like, hey, that's my life total was getting low, but it was just like clunky the whole time because I couldn't double spell ever. I kept having 2 spells in hand, but not 5 types. So maybe like when I Tear Asundered, I didn't need to do that, and I should have saved the Tear Asunder and just played another spell. Like maybe I should have just buried the land and the Veil and try to find something else, like a removal spell at that point. I'm not sure. I just don't think I played that correctly. That game too. It didn't feel right. So I think I was supposed to. I think that's such a tight matchup that. Okay, so anyway, on to round 5. Unfortunately, no trophy for us. I'm gonna mulligan this. This is a 4-lander, but it's just like 3 kind of reactive spells. So this is better but awkward. I'm on the draw, so I probably am going to lead with Scion and not Ragavan turn 1, but also be the Triome. We're probably against either Murktide or Living End. Probably Murktide. Zagoth pass. Next turn we'll jam Scion into a counterspell, or maybe Brawler into a counterspell. But Brawler he can trade down on. So let's see if he's actually Living End, or if he's indeed Murktide. Murktide without Consider on turn, or Preordain turn 1's kind of weird. Like, what did you keep? Preordain, okay. Could be some other combo deck. Okay. Pulling up Spell Pierce most likely. Here we're just going to jam Scion, I think. I don't think he has a way to counter this. He could subtlety it, I guess. Probably just bottom it then. Holding up probably holding up Spell Pierce. Yep. I think we want to just bottom this, honestly. Pitches. Pitch Spell Pierce. Yep. Good. Now I'm expecting him to just hold up Counterspell. He tries to steal it. Okay. Sure. I don't think playing Ragavan there was correct into an obvious counterspell. Maybe I'm wrong. I could have just gotten out of his hand and not worried about it. Probably wrong to bolt him right now. He could have his own Ragavan. Oh, it's more mana efficient. That's annoying. And jam this into what is most likely a counterspell. And if he has another bolt, he's got another bolt. Or Unholy Heat, I suppose. Expecting Murktide to come down at some point. There's a Fury. Oh, Hardcast Learning Revealed. Okay, buddy. I'm not doing anything. No, you can't be Rhinos. Go ahead and use another subtlety. Nope. That's at 6. I'll consider. I don't think it's correct to play Consider here. Obviously, Consider a very strong card, but I think it's more correct to just get a Forest. And play Brawler. Hold up step. So no subtlety in hand. He's got 5 cards, so like, I don't know what he's planning on playing here. Event's untapped. Very confused. Or was he gonna play a subtlety? Yeah, we're just gonna dash this. Obviously, he plays subtlety, whatever, but. Yeah. We're gonna keep it on top, I think. Maybe that's not correct. Still presenting lethal, I believe. 10 damage, yeah. Okay. So by stub force, right? So we have to force negation will target stub. I guess it's the same thing as before. Like, is there any reason to stub the force instead of, or do I let the force resolve and then stub the bolt? He's got exactly 1 card in hand, so he has to have Spell Pierce in hand. I think it makes a difference. Just have exactly Spell Pierce here. Okay. Okay, so he doesn't die. He has no cards in hand. And now we trade, which is kind of annoying. I guess maybe I should have played that differently. No, I think I was still correct. I had to go for the win. He's used 3 of his bolts. Oh no, I guess 2 bolts on Holy Heat. That was correct. Now, if his best top deck would be like Iteration or this looks like or Murktide. Jesus Christ, dude, are you serious? So I guess he just top deck Murktide. This is pretty insane. Okay. And I knew I was going to top deck Ragavan. I'm supposed to hold this in hand. I'm supposed to hold that in hand, and then I'm going to get it resolved. Can't attack with this Murktide unless he draws another creature, another threat. Did I play that correctly? I think so. Oh, come on, dude. All right, well, whatever. So far as he's top deck, absolute bangers. And he got a bolt off that iteration. Okay, cool. Still can't attack, or at least dead to like a million things. I guess I'm dead. I lose. Yeah, right. So I have to fetch shock. I need an answer to Murktide. So maybe I wasn't supposed to put Monkey on the top when he subtletied it. I'm trying to think of if I did that wrong, right? If I hadn't dashed Monkey, he wouldn't have subtletied it. But I think I had to go for the win, like even because I knew he was holding up subtlety. So I guess dashing Monkey allowed him to get value out of subtlety and trade. So I should have just been like, all right, you're holding up subtlety. I'm going to still attack for lethal. I don't know. Maybe that wasn't correct. I think he's just Murktide, but I guess Murktide doesn't main deck subtlety normally, so maybe it's something else. We're gonna board like it's Murktide. And yeah, maybe this is like not, maybe he's not playing Ragavan, so maybe Chain isn't good. No, I'm gonna treat it like Murktide, and you know he could have other stuff too. He's playing Force Negation, Lauren Revealed stuff, so it could be wrong. Cut 2 Tribal Flames, 2 Brawler. And then I think 1 Bolt and 1 Nacatl is what we did last time. All right, let's try this out. Again, I don't know. Maybe he had to have exactly that like sequence. Like he had like the perfect cards and then proceeded to draw up Murktide into Expressive Iteration. So, you know, what do you do there? Keep, I think. Swingo, red, white. I can't get blue mana though. This is kind of bad actually. Maybe I shouldn't have kept this. Need to hope to draw blue mana. See how many subtleties he has this game. No subtlety. Or he's got just a removal spell in hand. There's F6 there, so probably no Stern Scolding either. He just goes Bolt. Yep. Now we don't have blue mana, so now we're kind of in trouble, right? We need like a fetch land or a threat. That's a threat. Notably, he had to use a Bolt there, not Unholy Heat, so we don't have any bolts he's playing, probably all of them. Let's see if he goes subtlety here. Okay, he doesn't. He has another Bolt. And I just eat it. Yeah, iteration on turn 2 is a very good sign for me. So it means he doesn't have Bolt. He doesn't have a way to deal with this Brawler right now. But I don't have blue mana right now, so pros and cons. Exile Subtlety. Okay, that's a card I can't cast. Clunky, clunky, clunky. Maybe I was not supposed to keep this hand. I just need blue mana. I need blue mana. I could try to bluff something, but like would it, or just be mana efficient? Like, what am I going to Tear Asunder here? Nothing. Goes Blood Moon. I still have Tear Asunder in my hand, so this is what we do. Snapcaster, Bolt. Oh my god, dude, stop. All right, we're gonna lose this stupid deck. I can't believe this. Yeah, maybe I was supposed to maybe not play Ragavan turn 1 and then try to get a red, like I couldn't get Steam Vents though, so the hand was just clunky. But now we're just getting maximum punish for that. We can't cast anything in our hand. And my opponent can just hold a counterspell for the rest of the game. So now we just lose, basically. I need blue mana, then I can be saved. Okay, I got blue mana. So we play Scion. He does something. It's just correct to play Scion here. Another subtlety would be very annoying. Oh, maybe I was supposed to hold up Tear Asunder. Really think about what he's doing here. Dude, I hate this so much. I guess we just Preordain then? Put this at the top, Preordain it, draw it. Not really great use of Preordain though, right? Because I know it's going to be there. We get rid of Ragavan. I think that's correct. Maybe Tear Asunder wasn't good. He's probably not playing Blood Moon at this point. Now he's just got double counterspell up, or another subtlety would be very annoying. I would really want him to just stop having subtleties. Snapcaster and Iteration. We're just getting so dunked on by this deck. I think Tear Asunder was a bad choice. I don't know that he plays Blood Moon, but we're just like losing so hard to this. I think we can come back here, unless he literally gets another subtlety, and then I will probably lose. But I don't know what to do at that point. Like, he's had like so many subtleties every game. Okay, so he got a 1-drop. Exiles subtlety, has subtlety in the graveyard, so he's got 2 left in the deck. E on 1. Okay. Sure. Yeah, so we can green for Scion. So I don't want to chain here, right? Because he'll pop the E and then I just lose. So do I want to? Is there any reason to hold up Tear Asunder? I don't think so. Because playing chained here, right? I would chain a Snapcaster, and then he'd get. All right, he probably just has another subtlety. Okay, he doesn't have it. Right? Because if I go chained here, all he does is pop this, and he gets the Snapcaster ETB again. Which would be pretty bad. Although he certainly at this time doesn't have anything he could flash back, but it's just like give him value for no reason. I don't think I want to do that. I'm gonna save this Tear Asunder for a Murktide or something. Murktide with Counterspell, maybe. I guess Chained is also good for Murktide. Hardcast Fury. Expected. All right, I guess this is just so ridiculous. We're just losing everything. Okay. Play Jegantha. He attacks for 4. I go to 1. I'm dead to Bolt. Chained the Fury. Take 4. I'm dead to Bolt. I can Tear Asunder, exile the Fury, and then chained a Snapcaster, but then he gets one of these, gets to cast one of these again, so he'll get to cast Lorien Revealed. That's pretty bad for me. Or a subtlety or something. Oh, man. Yeah, we just, I don't know what I'm supposed to. We just had such a clunky hand. We had no blue mana. Maybe I was supposed to mulligan a 5 for that. I don't know. Like, I just feel like I've just gotten these last 2 matches. I got to relook at them. I'll have to watch the tape. But I don't know what I can do here. Or I can play Jegantha. I'm dead to Bolt. No, sorry. I play Jegantha, I'm dead no matter what. So I can't do that. I could play Chained on Fury. He gets the I could Tear Asunder the EE. I could play Chained and then Tear Asunder something, right? So I could chain either way, he's going to get the thing back that I chained. So it only saves me like 1 turn. Isn't that great? So I guess I just chain the Fury and then hope and pray for something. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I'm dead. I'm like so dead. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think there's a winning line here. If I just chain the Fury, all it does is give me a turn, but I'm not any pressure. So I don't know what this is supposed to accomplish. Go to 4 to exile something, and then I'm dead to... I'm dead to a lot of things. I can't even crack this fetch if I play it. Right, because I could go to 4 and then try to exile one of these, and I guess I need the mana no matter what. So I think I have to Tear Asunder one of these, but then he'll get the Fury back anyway, and then I just lose. So I'm gonna lose no matter what. Just lose. You just lose. Right, I could try to get rid of the EE so he can't get the Fury back. But then now I'm dead, and now I can't do anything. All right. Okay, well, we just got totally blown out. Like, I'm not sure. I don't know that I would have changed anything for how I sideboarded here. I think Rest in Peace is still good. He's playing Snapcaster. I think the sequences were fine. It's just I had that clunky start, and he just... Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to end up with a 3-2 after starting 3-0, which is pretty frustrating. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just annoyed. Usually you start out hot with a 3-0 like that, and I'm like, oh man, I get a trophy, and then you just... I think I lost 0-2-0-2 to... yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, here it was. We went 2-0, 2-0, 2-1, 0-2, 0-2. So the game where I wasn't certain about was this loss in game 2 to Scam. I think I could have sequenced that better and maybe just dealt with the Dothy earlier because of the threat it was posing, like binded the Dothy. But I kind of wanted to save the binding for a bigger threat. But I guess I just died to Dothy beatdown, so it ended up being that I should have just binded the Dothy. I don't know. That was very close. Because I think against discard, the issue was I didn't have that 5th type the entire game, so I just couldn't double spell. I couldn't play Brawler and Binding, so I just kept playing Brawlers, thinking that was the better play, and then eventually he just griefed away the Binding, and I just lost to Dothy beatdown. So, you know, maybe a better player would have had a better way to, would have just taken out the Dothy earlier and would have won that game. Okay. So what do I think of the list? I think the list is fine. I mean, you can say that I lost to like Scam, and you're like, whoa, Scam's the, best deck in the format. I'm supposed to be able to beat that, and that's true. But the game 1, they just had the nuts, and then game 2, I think I made a suboptimal play or two, and it's just like that's how close the matchup is that you just lose because of that. I think I should have thought more about the turn I preordained, and for what exactly I was looking for. So that's the risk with playing a card like Preordain, is like you can misplay if you have access to a lot more complex lines. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoy this kind of content. I really like the 75 right now. It performed very well the first 3 games, and then I think I just didn't play that well. And I don't know. The last round, I'm just not super familiar with like that matchup exactly. It's a little different than Murktide, but it's basically Murktide. So, we just kind of got hosed by it. Like they had the perfect tempo plays. We played a Ragavan, they bolted it, and then we couldn't play anything on turn 2 because we couldn't get a blue source. And then we didn't do anything for 2 turns and allowed them to catch up. And that was what lost the game. And then they had the subtlety too. So I think I did have a Brawler on turn 2 or something, but whatever. Anyway, if you enjoy this kind of content, you can subscribe, like the video, check me out on Twitter, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.